Hey everybody, Jason Cooper here from Kickstarted with another episode of Funded Friday. I am lucky to be joined by Calvin Chu, who is the founder of Palette, a project that is currently live on Kickstarter. It went live, I think, how many days ago, Calvin?
It went live on the 21st of November,
Okay,
so
so
almost
almost a month.
yeah. Yeah,
Almost a month it has. 16 days ago, it's raised over 119,000 Canadian dollars, which isn't that far from US dollars these days,
right.
and against a goal of $100,000 and has 714 backers. So congratulations on that, Calvin. Why don't you, instead of myself explaining it, why don't you give us like the 10,000 foot overview of what Palette is for people who aren't already aware?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Jason. So Palette is the first freeform hardware interface. So we have these modules which are like buttons and dials and sliders that you can connect just like Lego to create a personalized and customized computer controller for your favorite software. So you can use it for all your favorite kind of apps, um, and it's really for the professionals out there who want an interface that's made for them and made for their job. So one big case we're looking at are photo editors, photographers who do tons of photo editing. You can build a custom palette controller where the sliders can map to exposure or contrast. Some of the buttons can map to your favorite macros and really make a tool that's made for your job and what you do.
So it's a really incredible, cool tool, and sort of I think combines high tech with like tangible nature of the analog world. Uh,
Yeah,
and obviously there's been a response to it. I met you at Accelerator, so I know some of this stuff. But why don't you sort of explain, if you can, what the process was in creating and building this, and why you are now using crowdfunding to launch the product?
yeah, sure. So we started earlier this year working on Palette, building this customizable interface, and we really loved the tactility and kind of the analog feel of these physical controllers. And at the time, we were looking for different incubators and accelerator programs, and we ended up going to Hackcelerator, which is a hardware accelerator program that's based in Shenzhen, China. So we moved there over the summer, and we learned tons and tons about manufacturing, and we got to work really closely with factories and prototype shops making our prototypes, and we learned a lot about the business side of things too, and that was really beneficial to our company. And we came back in November, and we had our demo day at the end of November, and that's also when we kicked off our Kickstarter campaign. And the main reason why we chose Kickstarter was because we really wanted people to see it, release it into the wild, and just see what the reaction was. We really wanted to, make sure that yes, this is something that people are excited about, and not only that, learn and get tons and tons of feedback from those kinds of people. And some of the responses we've been getting have been really, really helpful. Just input on how they would use Palette for themselves. We keep hearing all these crazy ideas for new modules and new packages and new programs that they want to use Palette for, and that's been really exciting. And we've been learning a lot from them, being able to talk directly to these backers, and it's been a really great learning experience for us.
Would you say that outside of the money, which obviously is important for you guys to
Mhm.
scale and grow, would you say that the feedback from the customer base is the most important thing that you've got from this? Maybe even more important than the money, or potentially just the exposure, the marketing that's been provided by the campaign?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, the feedback and having such a close relationship to the people who will be using Palette in the end has been really, really great. And I mean, part of that feedback is also, I guess, in the form of their pledges. There's no greater amount of encouragement and validation than people putting their hard-earned money to support what we're doing, and that's been so meaningful to us. And yeah, having that dialogue with our backers has been tremendous.
So one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because I've talked to a number of accelerator creators from previous classes to yours, and then
Hmm.
obviously I was at the demo day, so I met quite a few of your classmates. And one of the things that comes off clearly is that for the most part, the projects all turn to crowdfunding as a go-to-market strategy, and it's been also extremely successful. Is there something about the things that your guys are making or the uh, the program itself that leads to crowdfunding? What is it about crowdfunding, and what are they telling you and training you to do to be so successful? For the most part, I think all of the accelerator projects that have used crowdfunding have been successful. So I'm curious as to what when you're in Shenzhen, what are you learning?
Right.
What are they telling you is why you end up all in Kickstarter and making money there?
Well, I think Kickstarter is really great for some applications, but it doesn't fit everyone. Um, I guess you're referring to a lot of the accelerator companies and other projects out there that are consumer oriented. So something like a business to business kind of solution probably doesn't fit as well on Kickstarter. And I think, like I said before, the biggest thing is that relationship, and how close you can get with your backers and eventually your customers. Um, and I think the accelerator environment has been great because, for the companies that are making some kind of consumer product, we're really close to each other, and we always like share information, different ideas with how to run our campaigns. And I think that's been really helpful, just having so many people, so many other project creators in the same kind of spot. Um, and as well, there's also other companies that choose other crowdfunding options like Indiegogo and doing their own self-starter, and that's not unusual as well.
Well,
But
let me ask
yeah.
you this: like, in terms of a tactic or just a more specific strategy, like, what are some of the things that you've learned from your classmates, or, I think the people that are going to end up watching this, a lot of them may end up doing their own campaigns. Like,
Hmm, sure.
what are some of the things that you've done that you felt helped put you in a place to be successful?
I think we tried to do as much research on other crowdfunding campaigns in the past. So we've read a few articles that where project creators have put their own kinds of reflections on what they learned on their Kickstarter, and we read all of those. We also kind of Accelerator was really great, and also kind of teaching us how press and media work, and I guess like it was also just a lot of just hard work and legwork, just reaching out to bloggers and writers, trying to get some kind of article published with what we're doing. And I guess having that reputation of being a accelerator company was also helped us out a little bit as well.
Well, that's great. So you guys are more than halfway. You did a non-traditional but clearly successful 45-day campaign, I think.
Right.
45. Uh,
Yeah, that's right.
And so you have the last third of it left. What are some of the things that you're going to be doing to make the most of the campaign as you sort of hit this final stretch run?
Yeah, we decided to go for a bit of a longer campaign, mainly because we weren't sure what would happen during Christmas time. And also just to give us, I guess, with the nature of our product of Palette, it has so many different kinds of applications, and we knew that we kind of wanted to test out different segments throughout the campaign, and so giving us a few more days to do that would be helpful. And so for the next few weeks remaining, we're still going to try to push for more press and give some more hands-on demos. And ourselves right now, we're going through beta testing and getting photographers and DJs and filmmakers using Palette. And if we can, publish some of their responses and get even more feedback, that's kind of our plan for the next few weeks.
Very cool. Uh, I'm actually curious. You mentioned this, and I didn't think about it. What was it like to have a campaign live during the holidays, and you were there for Black Friday?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were competing with, big big business, or is it a different market and you guys are able to still sort of capitalize on that? And maybe the sub question there is, if you had a choice, and you do, I mean, if you had the opportunity to go back and change it, would you have done it at a different time of the year, knowing the holidays are what they are?
Yeah, I think like the seasonality was kind of a factor in how long we made our campaign, and I think it's really hard to say. I still don't know what the answer is, but we feel that there's just a lot more going on with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Christmas sales and Boxing Day, that I think if we had an option, we would have avoided these holidays if possible. Just so that there's like less things on people's minds, and also being a crowdfunding campaign, they'll back us, but they won't be able to see our product and the rewards for a few months later. So I think someone looking for a Christmas present or something like that would want something in their hands in a few weeks. So yeah, I think if possible, we probably would have scheduled it around these holidays.
Very cool. Well, so thank you for joining us. That was great and insightful. For anyone interested in watching this in the next 16 days, again, I think the project ends on January 5th, 2014. Palette is still live, and it is. I've seen it. I've touched it. It's very cool. If you are a filmmaker, photographer, anyone that wants to bring a tactile touch to what they've been doing on the computer and make it a little bit more real, it's very interesting, and it's still there, and you can still back it and still get the palette and be part of the group of people that make it a reality. So thank you again for joining us, Calvin. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Thanks. All right. That's it.